All right, good, 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 good. Let me
I like your hair, Lori. Did you color it or it's cute?
I got cut. It got cut. I did not get cut, but it's been like a week and a half. So yeah, a little different. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't need to color. Not yet, anyway. Coming
It just
soon.
looks really shiny and it looks really cute.
Thank you.
It does look cute and shiny.
I'll take shiny. It's good.
Right? Yeah, bring it on. So welcome to Intuitive Art. Our theme this month is finding your voice. And if you didn't get the memo, I've grabbed clay. So it was grab clay or Play-Doh or anything squishy like that you can make some things with. If you don't, then you're going to either paint or draw or any of those kind of things that'll work in there. I didn't give Lori enough preparation time, so she's going to be actually in the paint and draw category. But this is actually going to be a night of probably the least instruction that you'll get from me, because the whole point of finding your voice is getting in touch with what you want to say and how you want to express it. So there's going to be a lot less of me telling you what to do and a lot more of you, kind of working that out. And I'm basing some things on the throat chakra, which we're all in this room familiar with. And so that's a representation of communication and self-expression. And so I think for me, I feel like more often than not, when we talk about the throat chakra, it's the communication side that people are talking about. And I want to focus and tap into a little bit more of that self-expression side. So I'm going to particularly just work with basic shapes and creating a flower. And playing around with that in terms of either, and I don't even know what I'm going to do essentially, but I'm going to work with flowers in terms of maybe making a pendant or whatever, but I'm not going to look at any pictures of flowers while I'm doing it. I'm going to try to pull this out from wherever, wherever it's coming from. If you are someone who needs to look at a photo or do something like that, that's absolutely fine. Again, this is you being called to do what you need to do. But we're going to kind of talk throughout the night while we're creating, while we're working on our own things. We're going to kind of talk about self-expression in general and kind of what that means for us as a person, and how we feel about where we are in that level of self-expression, how much of that we're actually relying on ourselves to express, or whether we're getting those cues from everyone else, which is again why I'm not going to be doing a lot of instructing. I realize my lights are super bright. I'm like glowing over here, and I'm not, but sorry. I'm gonna pop this down a little bit. See what happens. But yeah, so I just kind of wanted to really focus on that. That just self-expression side. And before we do that, I'm going to, wait, that middle light turned color on me. Hang on. There we go. It's still too bright. I don't know what's going on. Oh, well.
It's okay. You're shiny. It's a thing.
It's a shiny night tonight. That's what we're going with. Before we start, I'm going to give you a little quiz to kind of get a little baseline of, oh, that adjusted, look at that. To get a baseline of where you think you are. And so I'll kind of give you 3 categories, and then we'll talk about what that is. So the first one being quiet and shy, afraid to speak out, and secretive. And then the second one being speaking with a full voice, clear and concise communication, and a good listener. And the third, excessive talking, poor listening, and talking too loud. So I will volunteer as tribute to go first. And I fall very much between the second and the third category, depending on the moment, the day, my excitement level, and what's going on. I think the poor listening thing I've gotten much better at. I don't know if there's a thing is too loud. I might argue that point. That just depends. But the excessive talking is been there since babbling, basically. So, Shannon, do you want to go next?
Sure. So I can say when I was younger, much younger, I did excessive talking. I was very loud. I did not listen, but I was trying to be heard, and I know that's why I did that. It's like, look at me, everybody, look at me. And then it just, the quiet, shy, and afraid kind of reminds me of middle school. Now we moved from California to Ohio, totally, I guess it was sixth grade when we did that. Totally different culture, from California to Ohio.
Yeah, I'd say.
And of course, middle school, you're already self-conscious anyway. That's probably the most self-conscious I think you are.
Right.
So I definitely became a lot more quiet and shy. I have noticed, and then I kind of went back into the excessive talking, but I've noticed that since probably in the last 5 years, I mean, when I've just intensely been on my spiritual journey, like that's what I'm focusing on. I don't speak as often. I don't, and it's not that I speak when it's warranted or when I need to, but it's not that I don't have that need that my opinion needs to be heard unless I'm asked. And it's amazing how many people actually don't ask your opinion. so I can say that I am a lot quieter, and I am better at listening, because as you get better at listening, it's not always what they're saying, what they're trying to convey.
Absolutely.
So yeah, but again, we all have our days where we're or we're like, right. Hey, don't talk, Yeah.
No, so, and I love your expression of that. You brought up the intuitive side, which is, a big part of what the listening is about. If we're just listening with our ears, we're missing mostly everything. You have to kind of pick up those pieces. And I love your journey, because I think that's very indicative of what anyone who's going through this level of self growth will walk through those stages. And the being quiet, somebody like myself, I am very similar to what you were describing, and I would not consider myself a quiet individual, yet I am much quieter now than I've ever been. And for the same reasons that you kind of explained, it's not, I don't always feel it necessary to share what's going on. It's a smaller circle that I do that with. It's even with those smaller circles, sometimes it doesn't come out. It depends on, I do a lot more processing internally, a lot more waiting for things to happen, a lot more taking a pause. And that's that spiritual side coming in and allowing for that to freely flow. And I think that's the stages of when we're talking about your throat chakra and being balanced. I feel like that's when you start out at a younger age, you're pretty much in your lower chakras, you're kind of rising up. So it's, I personally find it interesting that we go back up and down with what we're doing. And it's not until later in life. I'm always blown away when there's a kid who kind of gets that early, but yeah, no, I love that journey. That was a beautiful expression of it.
Absolutely.
Lori, do you want to go?
Yes.
Do
I
you
was
need me to
just
read?
sharing some of what you were saying. Because although it seems as though I am pretty shy at this stage of the game, when I was very young, like in grade school, I would get in trouble for speaking my mind. So it was a different version of myself. Um, I was always causing trouble at home and being the more expressive of the family. But by middle school, yeah, I kind of learned that quiet kept me out of trouble. So it just kind of faded. And now I'm not as bad as I was in middle school, but I definitely, obviously, you'll notice in these circles, I'm never the first to talk. um, but I have it in me. You get a couple of drinks in me, and it's like, oh, different version comes out. Or if I get like mad enough, it's just. But not everyone hears me yell. My kids and I think my ex-husband probably hear me yell the most. But anywhere else, nobody can even believe that I do that. But yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Well, and that's because those inhibitions are coming out, right?
Correct. Yes, it's a learned behavior, definitely.
Right. Yeah. You're becoming, you're fighting with something that's forced you to not be your true self.
Correct. Yep.
So you're actually shutting down that voice. I'm leaning
Yep.
over getting my tea. Someone gave me a beautiful tea set with all these wonderful teas in it, and I'm having chai today in my
Oh.
Stitch mug. Look at how cute he is.
Nice.
Yeah. And this chai smells so good. I need smell-o-vision so you can smell it. It's so good. It's still too hot though. So the three tiers that we were talking about are, if you're according to the powers that be that all kind of gather and discuss the chakra system, it's pretty that full voice, clear, concise communication, and good listener is your target point. But I think that's more. I think they're missing the key descriptions of the awareness of that. So clear, concise talking versus excessive talking. It's not. There's a meld that kind of comes in there, and there's a meld that comes from the other direction, being quiet and clear, concise talking. It's not always that black and white. There's this flow that comes in and out. And I think for you to have that pure voice and to be able to find that voice and have that that basic self-expression, you have to filter into both sides of that. So I asked the question, and so you could kind of see the different levels, and that's what often you'll hear, like people balancing your chakra, and it's yours is over excessive, yours is under, that kind of thing. I think there's pieces of you that you have to go into both of those sides. So the key takeaway from it is not where you fall on the line. Are you talking too much? Are you not talking enough? Are you not checking the box, but more finding that truth to how you are expressing yourself, how you are doing that communication, what feels the most authentic to you, and are you honoring that and what you're doing? And then finding that balance between honoring who you are, which is this, I think, is the key, honoring who you are and respecting the outside world, the other person that you're talking to, the other person that you're interacting with. It's that balance of how do you stay true to you and be your authentic self and use your voice and use your self-expression in a way that is also respectful of the other individual and who you're talking to. I've seen in a lot of cases where you get to that point where you're like, I know who I am, and you're excited, and you step into that self-expression, and you're like, this is how I am, and this is how I need to do things. But that's too far over that line, right? This is how I need to do things. But if you're going to do it with someone else, then you have to find that balance in there. You can do it that way by yourself. But if you want to interact with, with the outside world, then you kind of have to have that balance. So as we're going through the rest of the evening, we're basically going to go into that space where your joy lives, all the things that make you happy. Go into that space, and you're going to kind of play around, think about the flowers and the colors and the things that make you happy. Obviously we're limited to what we have in front of us for clay and things like that, but you want to be getting those pictures in your head. And I just start pulling pieces together and looking at them side by side. So how do I feel? And this is with this, rolling clay up in your hand, just getting down to the raw feel of it and the raw expression of it, and then let it just start to unfold. And if that doesn't feel authentic to you, play with some clay in whatever way, feels authentic. But it's to go ahead and bring out your version of the flower. So you're thinking of yourself as this flower coming out. So what does that flower look like? What is the expression of yourself in a flower form? I will pause for dramatic effect. Oh, this tea is so yummy. It's the first time I've had the chai.
Nice.
It is beautiful in my little stitch cup.
Mhm.
I have too many choices in front of me, which is overwhelming at times. I like to think of, and again, I'm using a flower. I'm giving kind of overall, and I want you to develop your flower how you see it. If you don't feel like doing a flower, that's okay too. If you do the flower, I would look at it like that base. So you've got the base of the flower, the stem coming up, you've got the petals, you've got the flower, the leaves, and then the petals going all around the center, right? And they all serve a different purpose. So if you think of yourself as that flower, try to kind of envision the stem that you're seeing as what's holding you together. So it's not necessarily like your physical, what's holding you together, but what makes up your stem, that part of you that is holding everything upright. And then the head of the flower with all of the petals, look at that as, when people are looking at the flower, like that's the thing that they see, that's what they go to, is that flower. That's like the beauty, the expression of it, right? So one's kind of holding it up, it's your support, and the other one is what you're showing to the world. It's what you maybe want the world to see, what shines, what glows the most. I don't know. You can approach it in a lot of different ways. And then, the overall feel of the whole thing is this expression of you. And what does that look like? What do those colors look like? How does it feel? And we can talk and discuss if you have questions, or if you're getting motivated. We should have music at these.
I do that. Taking my glasses off. I need screen glasses, and then I need paper glasses. Feeling bright colors, even though flowers aren't.
Even though what?
Like I'm looking at the stem, and I just feel like it needs to be a bright color, even though that's not a stem color. But I'm going for it.
Says who?
That's what I'm saying. Says me.
You're already winning. And let's talk about that for a minute. That's not what they're, like immediately you're like, I want it to be bright, but right?
Yep, I know, that was my first thought.
Yeah. So
Yep.
that's that, standing true and finding that voice. How are you communicating that? What is that expression that you want to come out? And how are we doing that in a way that's supportive of us, rather than, what we feel like is being put down on us from outside sources, whatever those are, the rest of the world, the way we were brought up,
True. Yeah. There's so many expectations outside of us, and then sometimes we create our own.
Mm-hmm.
It can be maddening, really. We forget what's most important sometimes.
I don't remember the last time I've actually worked. I stopped at Walmart and got some model magic clay.
Love
Yeah.
it.
And
Well,
while
that's
we were just sitting here talking, I just made a heart.
Love it.
Oh, see,
It just, that's what came out was
Yeah.
a heart.
yep, I love it.
Maybe that's your STEM because that's so much of who you are. You do everything based in that.
Yep.
I like it.
Yeah, clay for me is just so therapeutic in general. Like
Mhm.
even just grabbing a piece and but the whole time we were talking, I just had a piece of clay in my hand and I was doing this, just because I had a piece of clay in my hand. But I feel like that's a thing that as kids we did all the time, right?
I do have my Play-Doh. So I have one little jar of Play-Doh, and I've had this forever because, oh my God, I just love to smell it. And once in a while, if I'm like feeling really down, I'll go into my closet and just smell it. And it just,
I love that. That's
That's
amazing.
excellent.
it's
That's
just,
amazing.
don't taste it, just smell it.
Yeah, that's so amazing.
That's excellent. Yes. Yeah, definitely don't taste it. It's not the best.
That would be a good happy card. You just put a little tiny bit of Play-Doh inside and they open it. It smells like Play-Doh,
There we go. Yes.
That would be a happy card.
right? Bring you back to your childhood. Yeah. But the half the beauty of clay or anything like that, any kind of molding thing, is it starts as nothing and you are making something out of this nothing.
Yeah.
And you're doing it a lot of times totally without paying attention to anything. You're just
Mhm.
like you said, you just made a heart. You don't know you're
I wasn't.
just making it and it came out. I lowered my light. Now I can't see very well. I wasn't sure what I was gonna need, so I got all my stuff. I got all my little tools.
That's excellent.
For me, it's like with anything that I'm doing, any artistic venture at all, I don't have any idea what's gonna happen when I actually sit down to do it. And it's almost always the case that I start the process with what I think I'm going to need, and then I go get something else. Like as I'm creating, I have to go, oh, you know what I want? And I go in another room and I go grab it.
So I don't have clay tools, but I have a paper clip.
That's a clay tool. That is a clay tool.
Yep.
I wish I could just send one through the screen because I have an overabundance of clay tools in front of me right now, if that's such a thing. I had them out the other day because my daughter has been making, she started a new business and she's been making dice. And she had a custom order for them. They're mostly like themed after D&D, Dungeons and Dragons characters.
Mhm.
And she had a custom order the other day for ones with sniper bullets. So I was making very tiny little sniper bullets out of clay the other day.
That's excellent.
Yeah. I also had within that project learned that I do not like to work with very tiny little projects. I was like, all right, good to know, not my jam. But it was enjoyable, but it made me feel old because I needed a magnifying glass.
Yeah, I'd be in the same boat for sure.
Shannon, I've been loving all of the, I'm not on social media often anymore, but when I do get on there, I notice your art and your postings and stuff like that. And I've been loving watching your journey as you've been going through all these classes. It's been beautiful.
I am just, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I am super excited about this journey. It's like it's just opened up a whole new world for me. It just, yeah. And I'm, super excited. And like I said, I'm leading this class for Ramona this month. And then next month, I'm helping do a women's retreat in Wimberley. And they asked me, one of the ladies is doing a rose meditation. So they asked me after the rose meditation, which I've never done this meditation before, but they asked me to lead maybe a small painting class doing a rose, which I've never done, but I'm like, I can do this. It's just since doing that Tara class last November, I guess it was the 21-day Tara meditation in painting. It's like, I can do this, this, I mean, this is something that I'm very passionate about. So
it's beautiful.
But I also, love to garden. And I mean, honestly, I've always felt artistic, but maybe not been artistic like most people would think, I mean,
Yep.
and like, so one of the things that was brought up in the first session of this new class that I'm in is, a lot of people are in the same boat. Like their mom was a great artist or something, or somebody in their family was, and so they couldn't live up to it. And my mom, the lady should have been like a professional colorer because she can color her detail. Okay.
Yeah.
So when we, in fact, I finally get together to color this Sunday because they lifted the restrictions at her retirement center, so now I can go visit her.
Oh, awesome.
I had bought her a coloring book. I guess it's been 2 years. It's got different country scenes on it, but it's very detail oriented and they're beautiful. Okay. Whereas my coloring book is just like, it has like peace to all people and then flowers and stuff. I mean, it's just very, and it's so different. I mean, I will pick different colors, and she's, very like, what the color of the tree should be, where I'm usually like, oh no, I want a purple tree, or something. And she can draw, she can look at something and draw it. And my daughter has that ability too. I can't draw a straight line. Okay. I mean, I just, even with a ruler, it still comes out slanted or something, right? But I realized that's not I like to work with colors. That's my thing. So, So as I'm working with this heart, I use some markers. Well, I use the thing, but so it's kind of like a flower, but it's like the sun in the middle of the heart, and those. Yeah. So to me, it kind of represents like the people that are in my life. They all need to. Like you were talking earlier, they all need for me to listen so I can understand how I don't want to say how I need to be presented to them, but they each have their own different needs, right? And a different way that I can express my love to them. I guess maybe that's what I'm trying to say. Okay. I mean, I can't say, Jim, I'm going to express the same kind of love for you that I do for Caden. I mean, because it's different. It's a different love,
Yeah. So understanding their love language.
Right, right. So that's kind of what these are just all different ways of I'm doing that, you
Mhm.
know. So
Yeah.
I'm still going to be coming from the center, but anyway, that's what that
I
is.
love that.
No, I love it. Thank you for sharing. I love it.
Yeah. I don't know how to draw either, so I'm, yeah.
You say that, but you always do the coolest little things when we're doing these.
Yeah, I'm not, yeah.
So judgy.
Oh,
Beauty
but
is
you're
in
gonna
the
be
eye
so
of the
surprised.
beholder.
Don't be so judgy.
Nope, I'm not kidding. Uh,
I have to pick another color. What color do I want?
Just like, I like blending colors, so that's basically what's happening.
Yeah, I do too.
Can't really draw them, but I'm gonna blend it. And it's just gonna be an abstract flower. Mhm.
I like when you were talking about your, the story with your mom, and you're doing a comparison, right? And I feel like that's so common in, and it contributes so much to the lack of self-expression, right? Because we try not necessarily to mimic, but we set our expectation of what we should be based on what we see from other people. And I think in general, like it's not, we look for like almost like a validation, and it starts out when we're younger. We look for validation, and that doesn't really kind of go away even as adults. Like when we're doing something, like if I come up with this creative cool idea, or because I'm always thinking of something or working on something or whatever, I need somebody else to go, yeah, that's cool, I like it. Not, like, I know it's cool, but I want somebody to agree with me on it, and validate that this is coming from a good place, or that it's not just this crazy idea in my head, like it's got some value, or so it's just interesting to me how we always do that, no matter what we, where we are, and what the subject is. We all seem to kind of do that one little thing where we think we have to be, especially I think in your case, like, with your parents. Like my mom is the same way. My mom's an award-winning artist. And so, and she, I mean, I grew up with life-size Disney characters on my wall that she drew. And
Wow.
yeah, so she, she can draw. Now I can draw too. I did get that from her. And she was really great about encouraging me to be me. So I think that, you know, along with my own personality of feeling pretty strong, about who I am, I think that helped to mold me so that I didn't necessarily need all that. I would take the chances and do the art kind of the way I wanted to do it or whatever. But I'm also Virgo and very critical of myself, so that not being good enough thing pops in often, where, if I was as good as my mom, then I could have done this, or
Mm. Yeah. Comparison's another tough one. Ugh.
My mom is she tries to be a perfectionist, and I've never I realized early on that wasn't one of my gifts. It wasn't going to happen. But yeah, so that's where a lot of her, um, I don't know, that's like how she does the things that she does.
right.
So, oh, got another heart here. Ooh, so this one, you can't really
Liking the
tell.
sounds.
I know, I love it.
Sorry.
I love it.
I
No,
love
don't
it.
apologize. It's amazing. Keep going.
I'm getting excited just listening.
Well, but when I pick it up, I'm trying to see if I can get so. No, I can't. Okay. I'm gonna try to figure out how to do this so that it doesn't lose its shape. But so I was rolling a new piece of clay, and it kind of went into, well, that doesn't work because it's white. Hold on. Anyway, it kind of went into a heart shape, but then when I was working with it clay, it looks like actually two snakes coming together and a snake head.
Oh,
That's kind of cool.
So that's your gardening.
Yeah. I really like this. That's something I think I'm going to be painting pretty soon.
there you go.
I
A
love
snake-
that.
A snake heart with I just have to figure out how to, just have to figure out how to show it to you guys, but let's see.
But do you have your phone there? You can you take a picture of it.
Oh, I can't. Yeah, I'm not sure.
You take a picture, you might be able to hold it up.
Might be able to. We will try. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
See, it just,
Oh, that is
kinda-
excellent.
yeah, I love it. Wow, this is awesome.
Love it. There's just something so freeing about, just mashing things up like it, and just moving them around.
Yes.
Oh, it's blue eyes. Okay. So I've never worked with this magic clay. You just leave it out and then it sets?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard, and it'll be like it'll still be kind of squishy, but it won't mold anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. I've made my stems.
Oh, wow.
Those are cute. I love it.
And I don't know if you can see, but they're 3 different colors.
Oh, nice.
That.
And then I'll do my flowers. But this is kind of a representation of the fact that I can never go in just one direction. And the 3 colors are, I don't know, I kind of didn't realize it when I was doing it, but 3 colors are like I kind of do things in threes a lot. Even before I kind of knew the significance of threes, the power of 3 and all that.
Right. That's funny how intuition works.
Right?
Yes.
I too like working with color and bright, and I think there's something to be said about, the creative mess. Like you're talking about things being very, like that attention to detail and very precise, and but there's a magic to messiness. Like some of my most favorite pieces that I've worked on, I'm flinging stuff, like actually flinging stuff around to get that, and working with chunks and scraping and flinging and all that kind of stuff to make a mess. Like it's raw.
Right.
And I think there's something powerful about that raw energy that you work with. We have about 10 more minutes.
Wow, really? That went fast.
Yep, I know it. Sometimes I think girls' night is too short.
Well, like I said, usually I'll have something with Ramona at 6, and then that goes to a little after 7, and then at 7:30, Tammy and I were doing classes, and so yeah, I had this really awesome like late, ladies' night
Yep.
on Wednesdays. Yeah.
And that's so important.
Well, it is. I mean, and that's the I like this.
Yeah, I love your excitement.
uh, I mean, that's just one of those things, with the adjustment of Jim semi-retired now, only working one job, but being home at night.
Mhm.
And, um, I'm one of those people that I like a lot of time to myself.
Yep.
And right now, I have during the weekdays 2 to 3 hours, depending on when Caden sleeps. I mean, I'm not really by myself, but I am. I mean, I know,
Right.
and so that's when I get to do my painting and or meditations or whatever class
Mhm.
I'm taking, and try to catch up. So, but then again, that used to be my time. Like especially in the summer, it'd have to be the time to go water the flowers when it's so hot and blah blah blah. So I just don't have the time I used to, but it's okay because I'm so happy that Jim's home with me.
Right.
He's just not having to drive home at midnight after working. And so, but again, it's just an adjustment.
Well, and I think those alone times, like, that, especially when we're talking about self-expression, like, you don't get to know yourself if you don't spend time alone.
Right.
And that becomes such an empowering thing. And so then, especially if you're used to that and then you don't have it anymore, that can be a lot emotionally. That can drain you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a balance. It's a balance.
I made my flowers and I like my flowers, but I don't like my flowers with my stems.
Yeah, this whole drawing just went
Oh, those are
by.
very pretty.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, very professional.
And then I did this guy,
Oh, wow.
I love it.
but I don't like it with my stem. It messes up my color scheme. I don't know. I didn't do that right. But that's what happens. Sometimes you gotta smush it up.
All right. Yeah, I'm definitely morphing over here. I now have a flower person because it doesn't look like a flower.
That's all right. You were making a flower person, right?
I suppose so.
You are a flower person. Yeah.
I don't know how to do dimensions. I need a class to like figure out how to do like 3-dimension. Because I can't get what I have in my head on the paper.
Yeah, I mean that's a hard thing. So
Yeah.
that's not like, class 101. It's hard to do that. Because there's all these different, like, where's the sun?
The lights,
how does that flow out? And you start with a box and then you draw the little lines, right?
Yeah.
to express it out. What does it say about me that I'm uncoiling my stem?
Oh.
I'm undoing my stem.
That's an interesting play on words, uncoiling, as I'm looking at my snake.
Yeah.
Ooh, just gave me an idea.
I have a cartoon myself.
Let me see this cartoon. Share with the rest of the class.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Are you
Okay.
kidding me? That's fantastic.
That's beautiful.
That's fantastic. I love it.
I was trying to get these leaves to look like they were going up, but yeah, clearly not.
No, I love it. That's awesome. There's so much energy and emotion behind that little dude. I love him. I could make like a whole comic book. I mean, a whole storybook out of that kid's book. Super cute.
Our people, yes.
It's very spring-like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm getting spring energy out of it.
Yes. Getting a collection of these now that we've been doing this for a while. It's fun.
So I'll have to do, what is next month's thing?
So,
I don't remember.
if
I-
you want
I
me to
want-
leave.
I probably need to do this as a separate class. I don't know, but I'd like to do a journal making class to actually put the binding together and all that. So you have your blank sheets and then you can utilize that to kind of put it all together. But we could do, if you have a bunch of sheets already made at the end, like maybe when we get like 6 more in, we could do one of them where we bind all of those together.
Yeah.
The already
pretty
done
cool.
ones.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I make junk journals. I haven't made one in a long time, but make them all outside, make them with all sorts of things. Cardboard boxes, papers, all that kind of stuff.
Yes. I don't know if you can see my desk. It got colored too.
I did a double coil instead.
There you go.
Still not total band, but
Hmm.
I made my flower into a smiley. Let me see if I can hold it up.
Oh, cute. Yes.
So
Now would that harden to your clay?
if I bake it,
Bake it, yeah.
yeah, if I bake it, it would harden. The ones that I'm using, I utilize 2 different types of clay, and the Sculpey clay, you can work with it for a while. It doesn't harden, and then when you're done with it, you throw it in the oven. That's what I made the bullets out of. And then the smileys that I make, I make those out of an air dry clay. So you have to work a little bit faster with it, keep it wet, and all that good stuff. But I like to paint those. So, and when I did the Reiki symbols, I also use the air dry because I like how that, I like to be able to paint them.
All right, so oops, now you can't see. I colored it, but no, you can't see it.
You can't.
Anyways, it's
You'll have
red.
to share it in the group.
I will. I'll share it in the group.
Yeah.
So you went with red, Shannon?
I went with red and then a little bit of orange on the inside. And I originally made green on the outside of the red. I didn't like it, so I put purple.
You made a sunset is what you did. You totally made a sunset, red and orange and purple.
Well, that's awesome.
A snake and a heart and a sunset.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
gotta
she's
be
a happy
some
What does
gardener.
that mean?
She's a happy gardener who loves nature.
Yes,
Of
that's
course.
the truth.
Yep. She likes to be outside.
Mm-hmm.
So like it was super hard. So the gardening I did today was for my daughter. It was her Mother's Day gift from Caden, right? So they never go really in and out their front door. They always use their garage, which is on the side. But I always use the front door, and there's this one area that's just this huge eyesore. So I told her I would clean it up and put flowers in there. Well, if you've seen pictures of my flowers, I love like English gardens where you just throw everything together and let it grow. And I mean, I do have some areas that these are purple and pink flowers together and, in pots and stuff. But for the most part, I'm just like, grow whatever it does, right? She's totally like opposite. Okay. I mean, she's just, her house is very farmhouse-ish, farmhouse, I don't know, farmhousey.
Right.
There, that's what I meant to say. With grays and blacks, and there's not a lot of color. Where if you walk into my house, every room has like a different theme, or
Yeah.
And so she only wanted purple, which okay, in there, which I was like, okay, because there's a lot of purple. A lot of the purple bushes and flowers are wild deer out here won't eat, like the verbena and the salvia and stuff. Okay, and they don't have as many deer in their neighborhood as we do, but still. So I mean, it's a good choice, but at the same time, it's like I just wanted to throw some pink and orange and something.
Yes.
Like, this is not my garden, but it'll still look pretty when I walk up in a couple months.
Yeah. You wanted to inflict your self-expression on her garden.
I did, because it was really for me, because I was tired of looking at how ugly that spot was. But I had to respect her wishes of, I love purple. It's one of my favorite colors. It's just I would have thrown some pink in there, or different stuff. And anyway, it was fun.
That's excellent.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, and it's gardening is just a great, just total body workout basically, because you're doing all the things.
Well, yeah, and we live in a very we live in the hill country, which beneath this much under the dirt is hard rock. So that was fun, trying to get down at least a little bit deep, so that of course some of these flowers that I planted are natural anyway, so they will grow in between the little pockets of the rocks and stuff. But it was just, it was funny. It was interesting going through that process of resistance of, well, I really want to put this and I really want to put that. But again, what my first heart said was coming from where she needed me to come from, and still expressing myself. So
yeah, exactly. So you didn't even know that you were doing the same thing that we're doing tonight.
I just realized that's what I was doing. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. It worked out for the whole day. But we were excited to have you back.
Oh, it's good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully we'll be able to do this. If I threw it out into the universe, I need this. So we're going to see how it works out.
Yeah, nice. I love it. Yeah. Well, and we do it as much for ourselves as we do for everybody else too, because, we all need this. We all need this time. And, and especially for the intuitive art and the magic hour ones, we want them to be more, collective, hands-on, doing something, have a flare of fun to it, and, that kind of thing, just for that, like, night out kind of thing, and just have a good time with it. Yeah, we do some hard work sometimes too, sure, but but we have fun when we do it, so it makes it a little different. But all right, well, one last time, let's show all our little things before I pause. I love yours so much, Lori. All right, it's my little, you can't even see it, but
oh, I love that heart. You added more color. That looks great.
I did.
That's great.
Lately been adding little dots to a lot of my journal art pages, because it's just so fun. It's so much fun just to dot. It's like a party. So
it's a dot party.
It's a dot party.
If you are watching this on a replay and you have any questions on anything, just shoot me an email or pop in the group or any of those good things. We are sorry we missed you, not on live, and we look forward to seeing you the next time.